Howdy, folks. This is Maker's Mashup. This is not the right way to point because I'm like a weatherman trying to learn. Woodenvisions.com is my website and the basis of this show. And Hard Nail Media by Steve Nealon is my sponsor, and very proud to have him on because he is rocking my website. I still have about 87 more patterns to upload, so bear with me, y'all. It takes me a while till I get better at it. I want to thank Robin Williams. We got Jim Brashears, Katie Dotson, Niantic, something or another. It's not right in front of me. Steve Twaddell off and on. Jim Brashears, I think I already said that. And it's not scrolling, so I can't give any more names, and I don't want to get too distracted. But I have two monitors now, so it's a little bit easier. I'll introduce our guest last, but his name is David Jones, a very unusual name, so I'll spell it if y'all need me to. That's a little joke there. We have Eloy Escajado. Did I say it right, Eloy?
Dude, that was perfect. Hello, everybody.
I'm telling you in Spanish. I can say it. Eloy Escajado. He is from, I'll let you tell him. We'll just go down the line and introduce everybody.
Well, no. You can't do that. You know do the bio. Where am
I? You're in Florida. That's all I know. And you're insane.
Miami, Florida. My channel is Escajado Woodworking. I'm happy to be here with all these cool cats and everybody out there on the chat land. And rock and roll, man. Let's do it.
Rock and roll. Speaking of rock and roll, his website is Rockin' Woodworking.
Rockin' Woodworks.
Yeah, rockin' the letter N Woodworking. Sorry, the YouTube feed started talking up on me.
Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that, though, dude.
You're quite welcome, sir. And he has some awesome music for sale. If y'all want to check him out, you won't get in any copyright trouble. Welcome, Shane, Tommy G, Ken McCrory, Michael Marcoux. It's his French name. Anyways, I feel like Russ Clarity because usually he can spout off who's out there, and usually I have to go to a different page. But next we have Rob Austin for Woodworkers. Have not seen him in a few shows. Good to see him on because even though I waited till the last minute, he was conveniently free. Thank you for being on, Rob. Tell everybody where they can find you.
You're going to have to look for me here because I don't have a YouTube site. You go to Gwinnett Woodworkers. I'm probably in 70 or 80 different videos there, but none of them on my own. I'm stuck on YouTube enough. I don't want to do it my own self. So.
Thank you, Rob. And that is Gwinnett, GWINNETT Woodworkers.com. Welcome to Temple Boy Turnings, also known as Steve Twaddell and Patrick's Workshop, and Donna Presley, Donna Wooden Art. She is also in the, outside chat. Thank you very much. Our extinguished, lovable co-host from across the pond, Jamie Page.
Hello, I am JP Woodwork. You can find me on Makers International Podcast. You can also find me on YouTube at JP Woodwork, Twitter and Instagram at JP_Woodwork.
All right, yeah, and that's another Hard Nail Media. Matter of fact,
that is
Eloy, me, and Portal Woodworks.
And that is.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah, both of those, Eloy, Jamie, and our featured guest tonight are all sponsored by Hard Nail Media because he's a dang good dude and he's good at what he does.
Yeah, he'll set up your website for you. He does it for makers primarily, and just easy to work with, and he'll set up what you need done with your vision of what your website should look like.
We also have Chad Grossclaws of Mancrafting TM on there. And thank you for that, Eloy. And Steve, I keep pointing the wrong direction. I'm like a weatherman because to me it's on this side, but it's actually on this side. Steve Nealon, go see him. If you want a website, he's the guy to go to. He spends literally every waking moment at his computers making sure things are up to par. And it's not easy to do, but he finds a way to do it. So we got Chad over there. Good to see a lot of my friends over there, Nealon's Wood Treasures. That is Steve Nealon. He is out in the chat, so y'all give him a thumbs up, a pat on the back and stuff. And we got Paul Corliss out of Michigan, somewhere in the mitten.
Hey, I'm Paul Corliss from Paul's Messy Workshop on YouTube and Paul's Messy Workshop on Instagram and paulsmessyworkshop.com and my workshop is messy because I work so hard I don't have time to clean it up.
Yeah, we'll go with that story, won't we, Paul? I love having you on, man. You were on last show, and I appreciate you being here again, sir.
Yep, no problem. Glad to be here.
And Cacao Robin, by the way, because it's just a weird backstory thing. Anyway, I haven't technically introduced myself, although if you're on the channel, you might have a clue who I am. But I am Charles Deering. I have woodenvintage.com. I primarily right this second sell scroll saw patterns. I still have 87 more to put up, but I have downloadable ebooks. Not a lot of people know about that. They're average of 4 to 6 patterns per ebook, or you can buy them individually for $7 to $10, depending on the amount of detail. Still have 87 more to put up. I think I just said that. And sponsored by Harnell Media. But we're going to jump over to David Jones of Portal Woodworks. He's also sponsored by it's Harnell Media, and I'll let him say the rest. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Portal Woodworks, David Jones.
Hi everyone, I'm David Jones, as Charles has said 12 times already. Portal Woodworks. I'm in Swainsboro, Georgia. You can find me at portalwoodworks.com. Portal Woodworks on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. And that's about it.
Well, all right. Now, David, as whether he intended it or not, he's quickly becoming a very good friend of mine. He puts me in my place on Loom when I need it, because all of y'all know that I've had a history of watching me know that I tend to aim at myself for humor, and I'm trying to get out of that. And the last person to call me out on it was Mr. David Jones, and I actually appreciated it, warmed my heart, because if somebody calls you out on dogging yourself, that means they care about you. And I know there's a few that do, and I appreciate it. And I'm sorry to the folks out on the chat that I did not get an invitation to the panel on. I was jumping through my tailbone like I usually do. And Jim Brashears has already talked about how clean of a bed that is, David.
We strive to make sure it's done right.
Yeah, David, do you care to delve into what you do as an occupation to maybe make it easier on other people to understand why you're, or is that a private thing? I can move on if it is.
No. I own a small maintenance company where I take care of motels, basically from the parking lot to the roof and almost anything in between. I've even been known to work the front desk when need be.
Well, that winning smile will do it.
Just basically anything that we need done here at the motels here. About anything.
So awesome. You test how comfortable the beds are in hotels.
Absolutely.
I won't say what Patrick said, but Patrick's being Patrick out in the chat. But anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Anybody that knows who Patrick is, when we say Patrick's being Patrick, that's actually a compliment and just accepting.
It's the Patrick's.
Yeah, the Patrick's, depending on who you talk to, is what his name is.
Well, everybody to know his real name, the Patrick's.
Yeah, the Patrick's. And big shout out to Steve Nealon as well for the T-shirt here. I was very proud to get one of these. And now Jim Brashears said that explains the clean bed. Anyway, so I need to focus more on the show. David, this is a generic term asked to people, almost anybody that's ever been interviewed. What got you into your passion right now? I assuming a lot of your passion is making, or is that just one of your passions?
Yeah, I started, let's really get, I started from, real poor beginnings, my father and all that, and basically had to go to work when I was young, and I started framing houses with an older brother, and that basically led into my, wanting to build things, throughout the years, and, one thing led to another, and then here I am, doing this for a living, and having, this small wood shop, trying to make a few dollars out of it.
So you have to hop back and forth between like how many hotels?
Right now, just 2.
Oh, that's good.
They're about 100 yards apart, so it's not that bad.
And you have like a gigantic warehouse where you have your own little shop to play in.
Yeah.
Now I would assume repair. Well, how much of your job entails actual getting to do what you like to do? I mean, besides the fact of just doing your job, I mean, do you get to build things or fix things, woodworking wise, or making?
Well, for the older motel, I've built some of the TV stands, the nightstands, stuff like that. But for the most part, you know, it's maintenance. You know, air conditioner tears up. You know, I diagnosed the problem with it, fix it. Even the TVs, I even work on the TVs. You know.
All right, well, I'm going to need you to bring me one of those gigantic hotel cooling units here to Texas for my shop. I think Paul Corliss will cover the shipping and labor. I think that's what he said. I could be wrong.
That's kind of a iffy.
That's the story of my life.
Well, these units aren't that expensive. I mean, they're not real bad. They're, you know, these are around $500 a piece.
That's
you know,
not terrible.
No, but then you still have to spend another $100 to get what you call a can for it to slide into. So you'll have about $600 in a unit. You know, a 12,000 BTU unit with heat. You know, it's a packaged thermal air unit. It's called a PTAC.
Well, okay, I talked about your passions, but did I ever allow you to answer that? Because I know your work is part of your passion, but I mean, do you like, some people weld, some people do lathe turning, and I know you have like machining stuff, but do you lean more towards woodworking or necessity stuff, or just flat out creating? I mean, what do you find your heart going towards most? Well,
basically I have one guy that I've been building a lot of stuff for him for an escape room. And just a lot of one-off stuff. Basically, I actually have a casket in my shop now that I need to finish. You know, probably after I get off here, I need to go over there and actually finish that thing.
Yeah, Death waits for no one. Sorry, I'm sorry. Well, it's getting close to Halloween. I had to get a little bit creepy. Of course, that's what I do.
You beat me to it, Charles, because I was trying to come up with something really clever for that.
I try to come up with clever. It doesn't always come through the way I intended it, but I had a whole list of questions and I can't find my notes. But do you have anything you can show us with a story behind it, or just face value, whatever your projects you have done and this and that? And I know by now, I think you know how to do screen sharing.
I hope so.
If not, we'll wing it. That's what we do best on this show.
Give me a moment here. Let me
10-4.
Sure, I got the right one open.
All right, I'll sit here and babble. Again, folks, we have yes, I'm promoting myself. What can you do, huh? I have 87 more patterns upload on the website than it will be current, but things are categorized. Everything is downloadable now, including the instructional DVDs. They're technically instructional videos now, but the second you order anything, you will get a download link in your email, and you only have 2 attempts to download that, and it expires after 14 days. So whether it be a video or a pattern or a set of patterns or an ebook, no matter how much you order, you will get the option, or not, you will get the link to download them. And again, big thank you to Steve Nealon of Hard Nail Media for setting that up for me. And no, I'm not 87 years old, Shane. Kiss my butt. I'm 47. I look 87. But anyway, okay, looks like Dave has his screen sharing going. So I'm going to present him and hide the panel and go on with it, David. Just any stories you want to.
This is just a TV stand that I built for the older motel next door. You know, just stuff like that. You know, that I've built and everything. You know, and I know I'll catch flack from Jamie for these. You know, cornhole. I built a good many of those.
Portfolio.
Yeah, portfolio.
I have never tried making one of those.
Well, I've made several. I don't know, probably 10 set this year already.
Awesome. Do you now some people say, man, you don't paint woodwork, but I think when it comes to cornhole boards, you can get away with it. Do you generally decorate them up or just make them like that? And
well, I normally let the people that get them from me do it. But I did this set for some friends, you know, and that was
That's ironically the logo my local high school uses.
Well, this is a set of Georgia Bulldog ones. You know, I'm a Florida Gator fan. You know, I hate to bust everybody's bubble.
Hook 'em horns. Go ahead, sir.
Oh, yeah, I hear you. You know, and I've built a lot of urns this year, you know, for different people that had the need.
Yeah.
And this is right here. This is one of them.
Oh, that's beautiful. What kind of wood is that?
That's just old spruce pine, and the little cross is cedar from a tree of mine that I have. Every urn I've ever made, I've always put a cross of some sort on it, you know, out of cedar from that tree of mine.
I like the wide grain on the face of that. It sort of helps it stand out more and separates it from the lid, even though it's horizontal and vertical.
Yeah,
I think it really dresses that up. For those that might be watching, what specific stain is that?
I think it was red oak or something like that.
Yeah, that one tends to be one of my favorite colors. That one and something I can't think of. So I'll just let you keep going. But that's very beautiful.
And this one right here was actually for my former father-in-law that passed back in January. And again, that's across from that cedar tree. And that one is stained with coffee. He was a prolific coffee drinker, so that's what I stained his urn with.
Very fitting.
So,
did you also build the easel or whatever you call that?
No.
Standing on? Okay.
No, I didn't build that.
A quick thank you a quick happy birthday to Jeff Robinson. That's out in the chat. It's his birthday today. Anyway, oh, that's gorgeous.
That was one for my mother-in-law. So.
Did you do the carving around the outside as well?
No, I didn't do that. You know, that's just standard stock from the blue store.
The blue store.
You know, I don't have the orange store close to me. It's the blue store. So
I don't have either one close to me, but I find a way. My wife works near one, but I think those little I don't know what you call them when you buy them pre-carved. Go ahead.
Is the blue store Lowe's?
Yes.
Lowe's, exactly.
And the orange store is Home Depot.
Yeah. And that's, you know, that right there is actually birch plywood that I had left over from when I was building the TV stands for the motel.
Do you often get to build out of passion, or is it mainly necessity?
Well, no, I get to build out of passion. You know, basically, you know, build a lot of stuff. That pops in my head. I say, well, I'm gonna build this, and you know, I go do it. You know, but
yeah, sometimes necessity turns into passion. I guess if you like what you're doing, but
yeah,
and usually people can tell that in the quality of your work. Real quickly, Eloy, Donna Presley is saying she loves your music out in the chat.
Thank you, Donna.
Back to you, Dave.
I did. You know, I ran a crew for a construction company out of Savannah for several years, doing metal stud framing, sheetrock, acoustical ceilings. You know, and I did a lot of that. You know, as far as being, you know, leading into all this maintenance and everything, and you know, just like this right here. This is a business and out of Savannah. It's called Savannah Hardscapes, and let me show you. This is what it looked like, you know, after I framed it and sheetrocked it. And let's see if I can find what it looks. The other picture of it right here. This is it finished.
Wow. So it amazes me how the finishing touches just really set things off. I mean, because usually when you see something being constructed, you still sort of get an eye for what it's going to look like, but nothing compares to when you finally see it finished off, and that, you know, it adds so much more. And that's beautiful work.
Yeah. Well, all the framing is metal studs. So there's no wood framing, no nothing. All the ceilings here actually hang from wires.
Wow.
They're hanging from wires. There's only 2 spots actually in that whole part of the building that attached to a wall.
Do you have a way at all? I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you have a way of zooming in on that picture, or it might be too late now? But do you have a way of?
Let me see. I don't. I don't know about that. Let me see. You're asking a lot of me. I don't know about that, Charles.
All right.
Has your mouse got a roller ball on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of
Oh,
times
there we go.
There you
that
go.
will like, oh, that's gorgeous, man.
Yeah. Okay.
How do you do the curved things like that? Is that wood or is it
No, it's all metal studs, metal framing. Every bit of it. Here, let me show you. See that? The metal studs there, right there.
oh, okay.
And the gentleman right there happens to be my former father-in-law. But yeah, everything in this building is metal studs. There's no wood or no nothing of any kind.
You don't have to worry about rot.
No.
So how do you get that curved look? I mean, is that just a matter of, knowing how to, I mean, I assume some things come curved and you just work with them from there, or?
Well, they sell it. They sell a metal track that
Okay.
actually, you can bend. But all these right here, I actually notched by hand with a, set of aviation snips.
Wow.
I laid everything out, out on the floor, and it just worked off of what I had laid out on the floor.
Very nice. Very nice. Seriously. I love curved walls. I like things that go against the norm of your typical square room.
Well, I mean, the framing part is not really the hard part. It's getting that sheetrock to curve around it without it breaking.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How do you do that for anybody that might be watching? I mean, that might want to know.
Well, we actually wet it, and on the back side of it, I did some score lines also,
Okay.
to help with it. But that's actually 5/8 sheetrock that's been around that.
Wow. I assume you just tape and float the seams. I don't know a whole lot about
Yeah, just like you do regular flat walls.
That's awesome. Does anybody else on the panel feel that way? I mean, I feel like rounded edges or curved just is more elegant to me than your typical. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's another part of that same showroom right there. Mind you, I didn't do the tile. I didn't do all the tile work. I did all the hard framing and the sheetrock, finishing it all. I don't have the eye for all that. I did all the hard framing and everything, and just I just had to see how it finished out. And this actually made it into I think it was Better Homes and Garden magazine about 10 years ago.
Hi.
So
Awesome.
I believe it was there.
That looks a lot better than most hotels I stay at. Which hotels are those? Can you tell us?
Oh, the one that I'm in now?
The ones you're taking pictures of. Is that in the hotel?
No, that was what was called Savannah Hardscapes. That is where they actually sell Italian marble, stonework, and all that.
What hotels are you working at there? You said you had two of them that are
Right. I have an independent one. It's called Deluxe Inn. It's a smaller independent, and then this one is a Days Inn and Suites.
Okay. What city?
Waynesboro, Georgia.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we got a couple Georges in here.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
this is an operating room that I did in Savannah. I had to do all the same thing, the metal stud framing, sheetrock, everything, and I had to actually figure out the geometry to put all these 10 lights around these air curtains.
Yeah.
When I got there, they told me, they said, I need this. We need this pile of lights to fit in this room.
Make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the exact words of the general contractor. Make it happen. So I had there's two of them just identical to each other.
Al Porte in the outside chat says looks nice. Jeff Robinson was talking about how he loves to work with metal studs. He made his office with them 15 years ago. And Jim Brashears hates sheetrock running and that hotel operating room lights. Has operating lights.
Actually, I hate working with the metal studs.
I find them so much easier and quicker. I mean, you get the walls are so much straighter. Like this motel here, we built it out of wood studs, and then you had to pull strings, and you had to go back and cut and shim to get the walls, plumb, straight, especially down long hallways. If you don't, you're gonna have it looking all,
wavy.
Yeah, oh yeah, and they're just so much a cleaner product to begin with than wood studs.
Yeah, the metal's a lot easier, but I can't do it without wearing gloves. It's so easy to cut yourself on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean the lighter gauge studs. Yeah,
Jamie, I'm sorry I haven't let you do the talking for the outside chat. I just.
That's all right.
This here is the actual mantelpiece that's downstairs in our breakfast area that I built out of scrap wood. So.
That's a gorgeous. Is that oak? I can't tell.
No, that's just old pine, spruce pine.
Really?
The, one piece right here is actually part of an extra stick of door trim I had left over, and then some crown molding I had left, and then some just 1x. And I'll show you what the wall looked like for several years before I did that. That's what it looked like right there.
Kate,
I made that mantle to look like the trees were growing out.
Katie Dotson wants to know how much more expensive are the metal studs?
Now they're coming back pretty close in line with standard wood studs. For a while there, when the metal prices were through the roof and China was buying it all, they were more than twice the price of wood studs. But the thing is, your insurance premiums are so much lower with metal studs.
Yeah, I can imagine, and on face value, I would imagine that the obvious benefit to metal studs is they're less likely to warp and this and that, like typical wood will do. I mean,
yeah.
The only thing wrong with that picture there is the TV's not nearly big enough, but that's just me.
Well, the TV's a little bit bigger down there now.
Okay.
And there's golf on it.
I mean,
yeah.
Of course it's got golf on it.
Now, David likes to watch golf. I don't understand that, but
well, it was cricket season wasn't in. I do watch cricket.
I'm a NASCAR nut, and people don't understand how they can drive in circles. What's the appeal of that? Well, anyway, so back to you, Dave.
Just last year I went and did a church, a ceiling job, acoustical ceiling job for a church in Portal down there. They didn't have someone to come in to do the acoustical ceiling for them, so I went down over an evening, me and my youngest daughter, and we actually installed about 8,500 foot of acoustical ceiling for them.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Jim Dockrell has joined us, and CJ Phillipson was saying he thinks 10 to 15 cents more expensive on the metal studs. Is that pretty accurate in your area?
That's probably pretty close. I hadn't checked. I hadn't had a big job to even think about checking the price on them here lately.
Yeah, it just tends to be in bulk.
Yeah, it's
There you got your little drop down. I assume you have to. I mean, it's going to sound obvious, but like when you get piping a certain way, I assume that dictates.
Well, I mean,
when you have to make a drop like that, or is that part of the design?
Well, the main trunk AC line right there was, at 11 foot, a little above 11 foot. So I had to drop down to cover, to get below it. So
very nice.
You can't really see the trunk line in back there because it's already tiled.
What keeps that framework in place? I mean, do you have a hanging wire every now and then?
See it right there?
Yes, I do. Okay, it's like a V setup, right?
Well, no, it's just where I twisted the wire, and that's the end of it hanging up.
Okay.
But there's this run right here is called a main runner, and it has a wire every 4 foot on that main runner.
Now, what makes that the main runner? Because it's the center of the ceiling?
They're 12 foot long. That's the reason they're called the main runner. And then these other ones here are 4 foot, and then you got your 2 foot T's in there.
All right. See, I don't know anything about construction, so little things like these fascinate me.
Well, I mean, like I said, I do it all. I went down, I don't know, it's been about 2 months ago now, and at the same church and helped them pour their sidewalk, which, that's what it looked like when I got there that morning. It was just a bunch of forms, where they had dug it down, I don't know, several months ago, and it was just sitting there. And
so in a sense, you really are a jack of all trades, but it seems like a lot of it is born of necessity.
yeah, well, you know, this church I've been affiliated with since I was 16. You know, I hate to say it, I'm not actually a member of that church or anything, but the people there are like family to me. And,
Yeah.
you know, out of love for the church, I try to help them out where I can.
Absolutely.
So, you know, and let me see here. This is the same shot later in the day after I poured it. So
very cool.
My helpers that day, my youngest helper that day was 70 years old.
Good Lordy. How much was your oldest one?
Well, you know, closer to 80. They were all in their 70s. So.
Well, they have a little bit of time under their belt, I assume, knowing what they're doing. Better safe than sorry on construction.
You know, and it would have went a lot quicker, you know, if it'd been just straight sidewalks. The architect for this, she drew it out where, you know, tried to follow the contour of the building, and I would have probably strangled her if she had shown up that morning.
Yeah, it's like I said, they don't necessarily make it easy, do they? Say, I have this vision. Can you make it happen, please?
Well, you know, she had the vision, and it happened. So let me see here. You know, it's just basically whatever pops up, friend, you know, family or whatever, friend. If I can help them, I help them.
Yeah, and I've always sensed that in your personality.
This is the front of the little church. You know, that arch right there, I went down and cut that arch window in for them because nobody could figure out the geometry of that thing. So, and then the chandelier back there. I'm actually building the steeple for this church now that will be mounted right here.
Oh, wow. I'd love to see that sometime. How do you, I don't want to get too involved if it takes too long to talk about, but how did you determine how and the methods of making that arched window?
Well, you know, I called the glass company and asked them to, you know, the length of it here and the high point right there. I mean, once you got those two, I mean, it's pretty easy to go, you know.
Okay, that makes sense. Maybe I was expecting a more elaborate process, but sometimes I overthink things.
Well, you know, I didn't know exactly the width of it, you know, until I got a hold of them, and then I gave them a 1 inch opening all the way around it, just from their measurements. I added an inch all the way around it to make sure that they didn't have any, you know, issues when they came and tried to install it. So.
Awesome. And it's funny because I've always critiqued other people who run shows, and I hear them say, cool, awesome, after somebody says something, but I don't know what else to say. I mean, because I think the pictures speak for themselves, so it's hard for me to think of a creative response for each thing that I like.
Right. I hear you. Well, I mean, you know, just for years and years, I never took any pictures of anything. I just went and done the job, and, you know, when I was done, I packed up and left. I never took pictures, you know. Where you know, I saw a lot of other people, they would be out there, you know, they'd take a picture of this part, and this part, and then, you know, until I really had a cell phone and started carrying a cell phone on me, I never took pictures.
Well, then I think some people do it for portfolio purposes, but I think your reputation, for lack of a better way of putting it, precedes you because of the industry that you're in.
You know, like this right here is the gentleman that owns the motels. This is at his house. This is a backsplash I made for him. Well, actually, I put a whole kitchen in his downstairs for him. He bought this. This is fabric that I actually glued the 1/4 inch glue on and put on the wall, and, you know, I framed it out, and then I put plexi over it. So that's his backsplash for his sink. Is
that a material behind there, or just, I mean?
Yeah, that's actually cloth on 1/4 inch Salon plywood.
And that's cool because the simplest things can work like that. And that was a very creative idea. But
that's awesome.
Jim Dockrell is asking, where does Charles find people that do such creative stuff. I said I search and search and search. My thing is, and I don't mean to make the show about me, I try to find people that haven't been on every show. Not that I don't want them on this one. I just try to go to people I'd like to get out there. And I know there's other shows that do that too, especially Makers International Podcast. They've had people on there I've never heard of, but it's surprised that I hadn't. And Eloy has recently started doing a show called Mad Makers, and he had a very interesting guy on his show. And after we're done talking to Dave, I'll let Eloy elaborate on that. And back to you, Dave. And I think something as simple as cloth behind there with a plexiglass, it's kind of modern and artsy.
Yeah, I mean, when he mentioned something like that, I'm like, well, okay, get the fabric, and I'll see what I can do with it. And he ordered the fabric offline. That is tomatoes, garlic, peppers, and potatoes. And
okay, I need to take back what I was just saying about Jamie Page, because he was because Jamie Page, right as I was complimenting him, he was in the outside chat telling people that Makers International Podcast is a place to find them. Okay, Jamie. Well, luckily we were on the same page, so it didn't hurt as much.
Well, the thing is, they had a pop-up podcast, I don't know, about 3 weeks ago or so, it might be a little longer, and I actually rated their pop-up podcast that morning.
Yeah, David's already been on the pop-up podcast, so he was there first.
So. Sorry, Charles.
Oh, sorry. It's okay. I don't own the internet.
That's right.
I have a question or two for Dave. Is that time or not? This at the time yet?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, if Dave's willing to answer them in between pictures, I'm all for it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask you because we do talk behind the scenes, and you touched on it a few times. But you're building, and I don't know if I'm going ahead or not, but I was very interested in the story of the casket,
right?
Because you have that on your website. You mentioned that on your website. So could you give us a little bit more? I've always found it's cool and yet macabre, but I find it interesting, right?
Right.
To do that. So, just any thoughts that you could share with us?
Well, right now I'm building an older style, the toe pincher casket. And like I said, this was not to be used actually, for a burial service or anything. It's for an escape room. Like I said, I built a lot of furniture for over in Statesboro, and it's it's just you can look them up online. Like I said, it's a toe pincher. It's like the oblong diamond shape. But I do have, I have built other smaller caskets, but I do have plans to build caskets for, people to use. Not everyone can afford a high dollar casket.
Yeah, and when you said toe pincher at first, I said, now what the heck is a toe pincher? And then I realized when you said it was a diamond shape, that's basically the Old West, like you see in the Old West movies.
Well, you can see them in Old West movies here, but they're used a lot in England.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. I think it's Levington Brothers or something like that over there. They have a thing on YouTube about where they make one, and I mean it's real informative. And I mean, to be a casket, it still looks like a piece of furniture.
Wow.
So, was it a request that, hey, we want this for that bug out room, or?
Yeah. Yes.
Bug out room.
Yeah. Escape room.
Yeah. Kind of the same thing.
Well, yeah. Well, don't they call it? Isn't it called a bug out room as well? No.
No. Bug out room is when you're like hiding somewhere. You're bugging out from where you're at. You're going to another place.
Yeah.
This is an escape room. You go there, and you have they put you in this room. They lock you in this room. And you have 60 minutes to figure out how to escape from it. You have all this stuff in there, and there's hidden compartments in almost everything there, and you have to find them and find the clues. That one clue leads to another. How to get out of the room.
Oh, I think me and Eloy were thinking in safe room or whatever it is where those
Yes.
wealthy people.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's not a safe
That's
room.
what I was thinking too.
Why would you need a casket for a safe room?
No,
I
That's what
don't
I
know.
was
I
wondering.
wasn't going to judge anybody. You know, I just said, okay, whatever floats their boat. But, you know, if somebody doesn't make it, they got a casket in there. But, yeah, I've done the escape room thing. That's why it's funny that I thought, but my mind was going towards those panic rooms. That's the word. That's the word I was looking for.
that's what I was thinking too. Yes, I was along those lines.
Well, I'm glad we cleared that up.
So the other question is, and I've never asked you this question, but I'm curious, and now it's kind of like you're on the spot, right? So you can answer it or not, but so what all these builds that you're showing us, and I haven't seen a lot of those that you showed.
Right.
So what one build would you like to do that you have not, touched upon that seems maybe a little bit far out of reach, but you have it set in mind?
Well,
if any.
I really don't. I mean, like I said, when I was involved with that commercial construction crew out of Savannah, I did some pretty awesome buildings with them. And the one building that I regret not taking any pictures of sits on River Street. It's called the Bohemian Motel. I ran the crew that framed it and sheetrocked it and everything. And that was a $43 million motel.
Googly muggly.
So,
go ahead. Sort of going off of what Eloy said. I mean, is there a I keep using the word passion, but it's the only thing I think of. Is there something you don't know how to do that you would like to learn how to do, or something you know how to do but haven't been able to do yet because your job keeps you busy?
Well, the main thing that basically I've got two things on my agenda that need to be done. It ain't something that I need to learn. It's something, my daughter is on my rear about building her a tiny house. So I need to get that finished. And then there's a concrete bench that I have out here in a storage building that I actually need to finish for as a project that I bought last year to take to a gravesite. But I really don't have anything that that like that. Well, tomorrow I'm going to the Gatton meetup in Stockbridge, and maybe learn some more about a CNC machine, because right now all that is Spanish to me. You might as well say it's a language that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably something that I really do need to know, and need to be able to use to be able to repeat stuff.
Yeah. Well, I think of the crew you generally hang out with, Mark, Lindsay, and Javi are the main CNC dudes.
Right.
And when they talk, more power to them, but it's so much over my head.
Yeah. Well, I was in the Navy and I have a degree in aviation electronics, through the Navy, and I did computer work, electrical, work like that, but just the programming, I hadn't done none of that stuff in so long. Everything that I learned is obsolete now. So I do good to get this computer here to come on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but going on that note, I think that's where a lot of people appreciate the classics or the old way of doing things. And, that's when they appreciate it, is when they're in a position where they can't afford or don't have the means to do it the modern way. I mean, would you agree or disagree with that?
Right. Well, I mean, I like one of my scroll saws, that I have one video of where I tore it apart, that I haven't put it back together yet. It's a 1941 Craftsman 24-inch scroll saw.
Cool.
And I have a lot of older tools like that I love and that that are dear to me. I like the older equipment. I have the same series table saw, joiner, I go to auctions. I'm an auctionaholic. I go to auctions all the time. And
Oh yeah, you're off.
How many
Go
scroll
ahead.
saws do you own?
I have 3.
Now, me, I'm a little biased. I would love to see you do more scrolling, but I know work and other things get in the way, and but yeah, I've witnessed you saying auctions nonstop. But real quickly, I wanted to give credit. Kim McCrory wanted to thank you for your service, as do I. And I believe Paul Corliss was no, not Paul Corliss. Rob Austin was Air Force. Thank you for your service, Rob. If we're giving credit to all the veterans out. Paul, do you have any service? It's not to put you in the spot. I just want to make sure I credit everybody.
No, I don't.
Does Eloy's Girl Scout time count?
I want to, with that beautiful statement, David, I want to, also salute to all the service people.
That's bloody lately.
Thank you. And yes, the Girl Scout cookie thing. What was it? Girl Scout badge of honor? That counts too.
It's some kind of statement, dang it.
Yeah.
Okay, we have about 11 minutes left on the show. Does anybody on the panel have any questions for Dave before we?
I've got a quick question. Either you're a huge Star Trek fan, but where did Portal Woodworks come from?
The actual little town that I've lived in for so many years, and where I own property at, is named Portal, Georgia.
Ah, right.
I was thinking the Star Trek route too.
No, I to be honest with you, I have never sat down and watched a whole Star Trek anything.
I never have either. I mean, I'm not anti-Star Trek. It just doesn't grab me enough. I know.
Well, I'm not either. I mean, I like watching something that's going to teach me something.
Yeah, Al Forte is probably the biggest Star Trek freak that I know.
Al Forte's probably going to need one of them urns soon. I think he's going to do something to himself. As he hates people who don't like Star Trek.
Well, he doesn't hate him. He just I don't think he understands him, because he's in the chat right now saying, "Gasp! No what Star Trek?"
he's over in the chat swearing in Klingon, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've never watched all of Star Wars either, so.
No, I did, only because I was a kid when they came out, but the newer ones coming out are a little off, but that's just my opinion. But live long and prosper, Al.
Yeah.
Okay, dang it, I don't usually dry up at 9 minutes. Yeah.
Sure you do.
Oh, okay, real quick. Yeah, thank you, David. I knew I could count on you for the pep talk. But anyway, Eloy, do you want to real quickly talk about your show and the days and times and stuff?
Well, I appreciate it, Deering, for mentioning that. I have a new show, Charles. I appreciate that. I'm doing a new show on my channel, and if you follow the link, if Jamie Page posts it, we're interviewing kind of like what Charles is doing right now, but we call it the Mad Maker Show. And I actually appreciate Charles mentioning that on his show live, and I shall do the same to him, because it's kind of a,
Scratch we'll be back, I'll scratch yours.
Yeah, we'll be on different days for sure. But anyhow, so what I'm doing is interviewing people. There's a little bit of focus on what makes them tick, and I guess we're doing that here as well. It's hard to say this on a show where we're interviewing people, but I'm doing write-ups as well for people, trying to promote people, kind of what we're seeing here, right? And we post that out there and shoot the breeze and just get into it. Maybe going a little bit trippy, a little bit psychedelic, a little bit surreal, non-format, kind of like Charles' show, to be honest with you. You put me on a spot, dude, but I appreciate it.
No problem. That's I can't get the chat to work. I was trying to respond to people. Jamie Page runs a show on Sunday nights. I'm sure most of you know it, but I'll let Jamie plug it.
4 others.
4 of it. Yeah, well, yeah, I meant he's involved in it. Yeah, dagnabbit.
Yeah, it's called Makers International Podcast. We go live on Sundays at 4:30 Eastern Standard. This week on this Sunday, we have none other than Mr. Paul Jackman on the show.
Hi.
Who's just recently passed 100,000 subscribers.
Googly muggly.
So yeah, that's going to be an incredible show for someone that doesn't talk.
Y'all are, sorry, I thought you were done. Y'all are currently running a thing with Chad from Mancrafting, aren't you? Or
no,
did that
not,
just
not,
expire?
not at the moment. That's just expired. We're on the last day where it's literally in the last 24 hours now, where you can win a year's membership to Izzy Swan's Toolmasters Association. So if you go to the Makers International Facebook page or to the website, which is makersinternationalpodcast.com, you can you can win a year's membership to Izzy Swan's Toolmasters Association.
All right, thank you for that. And Eloy, Mark Lindsay is saying surreal and psychedelic, huh? Eloy, you got tie-dye curtains?
I don't have to. You know what? That's on my list.
It's on his list, by golly. And now, Jamie, y'all are running a scroll saw contest of some kind, aren't you?
Yes, we are. That runs until the end of next month. It's a scroll saw and router contest. All of the rules are on the website as well. It's Halloween theme for the scroll saw and the router. You can basically be the team scroll saw or team router. With the router, it's all hands router, no jigs, nothing. And scroll saw, obviously, it's scroll saw.
Now, we all know it's team scroll saw. Also echoed by Sterling Davis. Now, real quickly, Mancrafting, Chad Grossclaws is having a giveaway for 12,000 subscribers. He's having a giveaway on his website, which is mancraftingtm.com, also sponsored by Harnell Media. And for those that don't know, I'm not asking anybody to choose, but Russ Clarity is also doing a scroll saw contest for the month of October. So, you know, just scroll a lot and, by God, enter both of them, and you might could win something. It doubles your odds. But am I missing any shows? Consistent shows?
Steve Twidell has one on Wednesdays.
Yes.
And
well, I know Carl Jacobson has. Now, is that on Twitch or YouTube for Steve Twidell?
YouTube, Steve Twidell. He has the Rob and Steve show. I think that's Wednesdays, and it's Sundays as well.
Okay.
And Cole Jacobson is Mondays and Fridays on Twitch and YouTube.
Okay, yeah. And again, if you want more details, since he's not on the panel, for Russ's thing, it's go to simplywoodencreations.com and it will show you all the particulars and rules. And again, don't forget about Mancrafting TM, Chad Grossclaws. It's spelled, it doesn't matter how it's spelled, it's Grossclaws. But he goes by mancraftingtm.com and join that. And I don't remember when the deadline is for that, but you can win all kinds of crud. There's just too much stuff to list, and I shouldn't have called it crud, but I can't remember the list. And again, Team Scroll Saw.
Absolutely.
By God. Now, I've never freehand routed. Has anybody here freehand routed with good results?
No.
I'm guessing Rob has.
Richard Morley, I know, has. He done a practice.
A portrait of you.
He done a portrait of me.
Oh, that was amazing. I mean, all jokes aside, that was amazing. Now, I saw Rob Austin raise his hand and Eloy raise his hand. I'll go to Rob first. I mean, I've never tried to use a router without a table. I'm just so used to relying on the table. But
well, I'd say 95% of what we do here, I have 3 router tables, and we get a lot of use out of them. But you know, once in a while, you have to take it off there. If you're using a big piece separately or doing dovetails by hand, you're not going to do dovetails mainly on a router table. You're going to use a jig or something. So there's times you need to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think
of,
signage is another time for using freehand.
That's what I use it for. I have a couple of videos on my channel. You take the router, and I don't have a plunge router, it's fixed space, but what I do is I'll stencil out spray paint, and then I'll drop that sideways into the letter and start working your way. And you don't have to go deep. You can surface. It doesn't have to be incredibly deep to get the effect that you want. It's incredibly fun. You know, you can do that with pictures and everything. There's a bunch of techniques out there.
Yeah, I kind of put my foot in it, challenging a router teacher to a router challenge when I've only ever used it twice in my life.
I believe you there. Real quickly, Ken McCrory was the winner of Russ's $100 giveaway.
Oh, well done.
Ken McCrory was that, and Chad from Mancrafting is saying, "Hey Rob, can I come over to the daycare for adults?"
There's a lot of people over here. Not now.
Yeah, not right this second. Get a hold of him. Maybe he can pencil you in. I believe on Facebook he goes under Rob Austin, but he's on YouTube. He's more involved with Gwinnett Woodworkers, and I know you know how to spell that. And I believe you're in Georgia as well. I can't remember where the heck everybody lives.
Where is he at? Where's Chad at?
Isn't Chad in Georgia?
Yeah, he's in Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay, and Rob is in Georgia as well, if not Atlanta.
I'm in Lawrenceville. Get a hold of me sometime.
Hey, and I'll powder coach you some stuff, and by God, we'll just go back. He's in Gwinnett.
Yep. Good.
Well, but dang, that just really worked out. I'm glad I could bring y'all together. And y'all witnessed on Maker's Mashup. I tell you what. Again, real quickly, I'm trying to get my website updated as quickly as I can, but I am slow at it because I'm not as good as Steve Nealon at doing it, and he's got a bunch of stuff to do, so I don't expect him to do it. He did a lot before I jumped on board to take over, and so it's taking me a little bit. Internet issues and this and that. But again, my websites wouldn't be my wife. Might as well but no, not Cornhole deal. Anyway, woodenvisions.com. There are 14 ebooks right now of downloadable ebooks. They're like 4 to 6 patterns, you know, just in a bundle, and that's a pretty darn good price. If you provided $7 a piece, it'd be more expensive. So you have 14 ebooks. I don't want to try to remember all the themes. And Chad is telling me, sorry, Charles, you're not a Cupid. Okay, thank you. Anyway, and Hardnail Media, he's helping a lot of us out, and he's a great guy. He's very thorough, even when he's watching these shows. And that's what I love about him. Even he's still dedicated to the people he does the websites for. But even while he's watching these shows, he's monitoring websites. Like, if y'all remember last week when my server went down, it was through no fault of his own, but he was on that stuff. And there was no doubt in my mind he was on it, because he's always sitting at his computer working on websites, and he's very, very dedicated. Ron Norris is saying my Book of Barnes is cool. That's one of the themes of the ebooks I have, so I encourage y'all to go check those out. If you still haven't checked out the downloadable videos of how to make your own scroll saw patterns on paper, I encourage you to do that. There's 6 of those out right now. I'm considering running a specials soon, and but I don't want to tease y'all until I have the particulars together. But I want to make sure I get all my patterns up first, so that it's you know, priorities.
I'll just buy yours. It's easier. All
right. Love you too, Jamie. Okay, so I'm going down the line. We thank you, Eloy Esca. Don't tell me. Eloy Escajado, Rockin' Woodworking or something like that.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being part of the panel and helping the show be good. Rob Austin, long time no see, and I'm sorry for that because it's usually last minute on my part. But glad you got to join us, and my esteemed, lovely co-host couldn't be here, so I got Jamie Page. Love you,
That's
Jamie.
Right. You get Eloy's name right, but you get mine wrong.
I said Jamie Page.
I'm joking.
You got me. I'm gullible. You can tell me my name's not Charlie, and I'll start believing you. Paul Corliss out of Michigan, and by God, Dave Jones, and his Portal Woodworks. I don't know how active his website is yet, but it's being worked on. But his is obviously portalwoodworks.com, I would assume.
Yes, exactly.
All right, thank you so much for being on, Dave, and thank everybody out in the chat. I've breathed since then, so I can't remember everybody that was out there, but thank you all for joining. Thank you for y'all's participation. Thank you for the 24 thumbs up. Have 29 watching now, but above all, no matter what you're into, appreciate each other, share each other, get involved with each other, and I wasn't ready because my button wasn't there. Scroll on, all right?